Hello there, and welcome back to Let's Play Sekiro. I'm just going through my skills a bit. I'm going to grab Grappling Hook Attack. It allows you to attack in midair after you grapple hook towards an enemy. It's very useful, especially against big bosses, that'll often allow you to grapple to them. There is a skill you want, Breath of Life. It will give you vitality back when performing death blows. It's like the visceral attack from Bloodborne giving you health. Now, I look at this ninjutsu. This is Blood Smoke. When you use it, you have to use it on an enemy you backstabbed or killed from stealth, basically. You can use Vault Over to get to use ninjutsu on enemies mid-combat. It's very useful. Some of them are expensive. The best one, I think, though, is actually the cheapest one. But in showing it, I forgot to actually equip it, so didn't get to use it during any of this recording. Blood Smoke is very handy. It allows you to use another death blow, basically, on an enemy nearby. So let's say there's 3 enemies facing each other, you death blow one. You use Blood Smoke on the first one. Then you get a free backstab on another, possibly even the third. It blinds all nearby enemies, so it makes them viable to be backstabbed. So this is in the abandoned dungeon. This is the waterway. You can see here, because I forgot to equip it, I can't use it. These are some Ashina Ashigaru who are guarding the area. This area actually has a few paths we can't get through yet. We'll have to beat Ashina Depths first. So the way I was doing it for the LP, I was trying to give off a decent experience to show each thing. It'll also show that areas change after beating specific places. So I try to do it in an order that works best. Ashina Depths you can actually beat before Genichiro. Senpu and Sunken Valley, though, have to be beaten after Genichiro. You can beat the majority of them, but the final boss of each area is only unlocked after Genichiro. Time to use this elevator here from... I don't know how they built this. There's not really elevators in other spots except here. In this ancient path leading up to a Buddhist temple up in the mountains. It's a little odd. And it doesn't even have a button you step on in the middle to make it go up and down. What the hell, FromSoft? I know they said Sekiro would be different, but this is too much. Also, you can tell no one uses this path. The wheel was covered in dust. There's cobwebs everywhere. This hasn't been traveled in a long time. Did anyone else hear that?
この千宝寺は今や御仏の教えより外れたが、皆そうであることを捨て、死なずの探求に見入られてしまいました。虜となれば何をされるかわかりません。お帰りになられた方が良いでしょう。それでももしこの千宝寺に入る理由があるのならば止めることはいたしません。ただどうかお気をつけて。それでも進まれるのですね。せめて私たちがあなたのご無事をお祈りしましょう。
So you may notice there's going to be a ton of Buddhist imagery here, and a lot of Japanese Buddhist imagery, and Buddhist imagery in general is going to borrow a bit from Hinduism, or a lot from Hinduism at times. Sekiro is going to include a lot of Hindu religious views and iconography and symbolism, as well as Buddhist, especially Japanese Buddhist, and it's also going to contain a lot of Chinese like iconography, a lot of Chinese stories, Confucianist teachings. This is Senpu Temple of Mount Kongo. Mount Kongo is an actual place in Japan. This is a fictional one, though. It's in a different area. One of the reasons I wanted to go here first, also, is it's one of the prettier looking zones in the game. Sekiro, I feel, is really drab and kind of boring in a lot of areas. Ashina Outskirts is kind of ugly. So I wanted to go somewhere pretty. This area is also really fucked up, just a heads up. Sekiro doesn't have as much body horror as, like, Dark Souls or Demon Souls, or especially Bloodborne. It's still really weird and creepy and messed up. And a warning, serious warning, tons of centipedes all over in this zone, and probably the rest of the game.
置いていかれてしもうた。みんな、小太郎を置いてどこへ行ったんじゃ。おら、どうすればいいんじゃろう。なぜ泣いている。皆に置いていかれてしもうたんじゃ。皆とは。皆はあれ誰じゃ。くるくる回る赤白いお花、たった一輪真っ白いお花、真っ白いお花が見当たらない。なんだと。頭が痛え。すまねえ。あんた何を言っているのかオラにも訳がわからねえんだ。とにかく真っ白いお花を探さなきゃ。
Now, another warning, and I've talked about it a bit with the Taro troops, I think. Sekiro is kind of really messed up with mental illness, with using the Taru as, like, giant baby men who are supposed to be, like, underdeveloped people. It's really unpleasant. I wish they hadn't done that and had just made them, like, big, strong guys instead of big, strong guys with brain of babies. This area is also going to feature dead children. Here is a Senpu monk. You notice I can lock onto him. Yeah, these are bad guys. They're really evil. They're maybe the most evil characters in the entire game. This is also where these short guys are from. They're the Senpu assassins. And that is a kite. This is a puzzle we can't solve until we've beaten this area. We actually need to get a ninjutsu to beat this little puzzle here. See, that kite is something we can grapple to, but we need it up near that tree up there. But yeah, Senpu is really, it's kind of disturbing. This whole area is about the corruption of Buddhism. Now, From may not have intentionally been doing it, but it kind of seems intentional to me that this was a subject of Sengoku Japan at the time. This is about 20 years after, but it was something that was really big, especially because of Nobunaga, was feelings of displeasure and hatred towards the conservative Buddhists who ruled over certain areas. Now, these statues, I can't remember the exact name for both of them, but they're forms of Kongo Rikishi. This is a sort of Buddhist figure, a sort of guardian, with one representing the start of life and one the end of life. One with the open mouth, one with the closed mouth. They represent different sounds of death and of birth. And of course, this is Mount Kongo. Senpu monks are obsessed with immortality. That's kind of why everything is going on here that's going on. You can see their stabs are very traditional Buddhist monk stabs. These ones who are unarmed are kind of hard to deflect, but honestly, you can just attack spam them. They'll deflect every now and then, but you can just hit them before they can attack again. The ones with stabs are the most dangerous. They're basically spears. They'll use thrust attacks and sweeps more often. Around all of this area, there are going to be tons of dead bodies. They've been doing experiments with immortality, and a lot of these dead bodies have items relating to poison and pacification of terror around them, because these people were tied up and killed and tortured and kind of like harvested. A lot of Buddhist statues, of course. Some appear to be of Jizu. I may be pronouncing that incorrectly, just as I probably mispronounced Kongo Rikishi. And no, I won't be making any jokes about the wrestler because of... I understand they technically have the same name, but also it's like a religious figure of a religion. I don't want to make jokes about Buddhism. In general, I just try to be respectful. Now, this spot right here might be a bit confusing for some because we're basically at the end of this path. We're up here. Here is the sort of doors to the entrance of the temple grounds. They don't open. Nothing. Nope. So what you have to do is grappling hook up here and go into these sort of like rafter areas. Full of centipedes. Or not centipedes. These are the crickets. There's a lot of crickets and centipedes. You will recognize these from the abandoned dungeon around all the zombies. They appear to be related to immortality and the centipedes. Here are more statues. I don't recognize all of them. Some, though, do have Buddhist markings on them. I believe, or is it either Buddhist or Hindu, or it might be used in both. They have these sort of claws. I believe it's pronounced Vajra. They are indestructibility. They represent thunderbolts, immortality, the bells for warding off evil. Really important in Buddhism and Hinduism. I think a few other religions, too. I kill these little crickets because I just want them to not hit me while I'm trying to look at photos. Or, well, look at these. I take photos of almost everything in game. You can see it at the top of the staff specifically easily. And it's there on that bell. That bell is really important. Bells in general are super important in Sekiro. Now, I would say it's just a Dark Souls reference, but honestly, it borrows a lot from, I'm pretty sure, like traditional Japanese folklore. Now, here is an Elder of Senpu. I just backstabbed him. That's how you kill an enemy, so he's dead. But why is he still bleeding? I can lock onto him. Oh, he's alive. So they have found a form of immortality. These are enemies that can't normally be killed. You can deathblow him, you can fight him. Currently, we cannot kill him, actually. It was discussed a bit with Ishin and some of the item text. We need the Mortal Blade, the red Mortal Blade. With it, we will be able to kill immortals. Though, that's not actually the reason we're getting it. Also, I usually don't fight these guys. I usually just run past. So, I ended up getting caught in that corner. You do, though, want to get that item from in front of the Elder, since it is a gourd seed. I just wanted to deathblow that guy, but this big boy won't let me. And again, couldn't get the death blow. These guys are pretty weak to being deflected. It gives them little moments like that where you can get a bunch of swings, posture break them, get in kills. This guy will spit up little crickets. So again, death blow him, he's still alive, he can't die. He's basically like a zombie and a monster. Senpu is really disturbing. I don't like this place. Now, this is going to get gross. I'm going to zoom in on him a bit. If you want, you can look at his legs. They're like wrapped in like intestines and centipedes.
蛇ガキはの2つあるぞい。1つは生ガキ、1つは干しガキ。あっちじゃ。生ガキはあっちじゃ。駆け越えて穴くぐり。生ガキもいでくれよさ。
生ガキ、どういうことだ。
困りごとかい。しからばお米じゃぞい。お米じゃ。困りごとあるならばお米を恵んでくだされよ。お米はないかな。おちの巫女様のお米じゃぞえ。
So what she's trying to tell us about is a hint. These ladies actually are around in multiple areas. It's unclear if it's one woman or multiple. What you do is you give them rice and they'll give you a hint. We don't have access to rice yet, though. We'll be getting that later. Actually, you have to beat Senpu to get the rice, ironically enough. But she's trying to actually tell us how to use the kite to get over there. Another thing, Senpu, I don't know if it's just coincidence. Its name reminds me of Sunpu Palace and Castle, which was the capital of the Suruga province. From Sengoku, Japan, it was the seat of rule of the Imagawa clan. I'm just curious if it's a reference because of the Imagawa were led by Imagawa Yoshimoto at the time. He was a pretty devout Buddhist and had a very devout master. But he ended up dying at the Battle of Okehazama while trying to defeat Nobunaga, and Nobunaga defeated him while completely outnumbered. So I hate these guys with the straw and the hat. They are absolute nightmares to fight. It's so hard to break their posture. They just have really frustrating attacks. They deflect almost everything, and because of that, it does almost no posture damage to them. The best option I know of, basically, is get them into certain points and either hit them while they're jumping over your head, or Ichimonji. Like, it may sound bizarre. I find these guys harder than the final bosses of the game. I won't say what those bosses are, but suffice to say, those bosses are maybe some of the hardest FromSoft has ever made. These guys, I put up with them. If they did the same amount of damage and had the same amount of health, these would be bosses. And it's just because they deflect everything. Like, my first time playing Sekiro, I didn't kill one of these guys until New Game Plus 2, for reference. And there's a shield guy. Some of the enemies here are actually enemies from Hirata. I don't know if it's the exact same bandits, but like, these are their same, like, attacks and types of enemies. That actually might be them, because I just looked at his chest plate and that looked like the Hirata estate, like, emblem. Or the Kaman, or Mon. Which that is very interesting. So I'm just looking around here to see if there's anything extra. Normally, I don't actually go through this part of the level down here. I know there's always, like, a lot of dead bodies. You know, antidote powder, just things relating to terror and poison. There's nothing really down here. Because honestly, every playthrough when I go through here, because there's 2 of these guys here, I just run past and jump up and grapple away. That is the proper path up to Senpu Temple. As you can see, they've destroyed the bridge. Very intentionally, they don't want anyone coming up here. They want to be immortal, be forever, and keep people away from the mortal blade. So this area has a very interesting name for the idol. I'm not sure if it's the same in Japanese, but in English this is Shugendo. Shugendo is a sort of way of life and religion in Japan. It's like mountain-based, mountain worship, living in the mountains, living off the land. It's something really important, I think, in Sekiro. They don't go into it other than this idol, really. But this entire land is deeply covered in mountains. At the top of mountains are often very important things, and in high elevated areas. The Tengu that Ishin is using as a sort of Batman-esque cover are associated with Shugendo as well. Another mob merchant. With some statues. I believe they're Buddhist, but I'm not sure. They look a bit more Indian or Chinese to me, but again, that could be influences upon the Japanese Buddhism and the statues here. Let's see what he's got.
ご供養いかがかね。こんなところにも。死者もあるところ、また供養しあり。仏を忘れば、また弔いもなきゆえにな。さあ、ご供養していきなされ。死者があるだからまた供養しありいずこへ行こうとご供養を欠かさぬようにな。
Now, you may have noticed it's a very strange thing. All of the pinwheels around, they're also around small, childlike statues. This is one of those things about Senpu I said was disturbing and upsetting. This is an area that's gonna include a lot of talk of, like, killing children. And the pinwheels are basically there to appease their spirits. And to keep their spirits happy after all of them have been killed for experiments on immortality. It's stuff you can kind of miss just playing the game if you don't pay too much attention to the dialogue, and especially if you don't read any item descriptions. over there is one of the paths to a pinwheel. There's two types of pinwheels. There's red and white, and then there's a single pure white pinwheel. They're for giving to Kotaro, that big Taro troop guy at the beginning who's friendly. They'll actually affect a quest of his. If you want to send him anywhere, you give him the red and white. If you want him to basically go like the more devout, happier path, you give him the white. I'll be showing off each of them. I actually advise the red and white for your first playthrough because there is an item you get that's really handy. Also, a death blow, but I fell. I don't know, I just thought that was kind of funny. But first playthrough, there's an item you get that's really helpful and carries over into later playthroughs that just gives you a discount on all purchases. Up here is the main path. This is actually the way you're supposed to go. You're supposed to go up into this bridge. Now, someone's waiting for us in there. You might say someone who Iron Tarkus would like to fight. So here's a close-up of the statues. They also remind me a lot of the heads in, what was it called? In Berserk. You know, all the faces in like the hell. This is the red and white pinwheel. Now you can jump over here from a different spot. You can jump over here from just above the Senpu assassins. Over there to try and grapple over. I prefer to do it from here though. It just seems much easier. So what you have to do is jump and grab on. Not grappling hook. You have to grab on right there. And it is really bad. It fails a lot. Some lizards will fall right here. Like usual, they're not a danger at all. And then you need to use the wall jump footholds to get up. And because I kept trying to double jump back and forth, I fell off. This is where the pure white pinwheel is. This is the one with the happy ending for Kotaro. Now, another thing you may have noticed, if you have checked the item descriptions, paused to read them, or read them in thread or anything when I post them, that rotting prisoner's note from the abandoned dungeon is from Kotaro's father. In the abandoned dungeon, that guy who was like dying on the bed as a zombie with festering like wounds, that's his father. Here are some more statues. I might go in depth more in the thread. It's kind of hard to do in video because of I have to basically bring up tons of notes and reference images to talk about them. That is a centipede enemy on the wall. This is monkey booze. This is a form of alcohol you can give. You can give alcohol to Emma, the sculptor, or to Ishin. I'll try to show off all their dialogue for all of them. I already have it recorded for all of Ishin with every type of alcohol. So when I said centipede, these aren't like actual centipedes, these are like guys. They're basically like Voldo. Like, I'm not kidding, they're just covered in blades. They kind of move a little bit like him at times, they crawl around. They're a sort of mercenary group, seemingly. Maybe a type of shinobi. It's not fully clear. There isn't really much on them. Almost all of the lore on them is in one of the prayer necklace descriptions, and that's it. That's one item in the entire game. So, up here we have found something I like that most people don't. Also, just looking around. That is an important building there that contains an esoteric text. And that is Senpu Temple up there. So this is the Demon Bell. It looks so inviting, doesn't it? Also, this is based on traditional bells around Japan that you'll see in certain like museums and temples. So it warns you to not ring this. Yeah, I'm gonna ring it. This is how I normally play the game, is with this bell activated. I normally play with this and another type of hard mode activated on much higher New Game Pluses. That's standard Sekiro for me. So what this does is it buffs enemies. Now, the exact values aren't totally clear. People have not figured that out yet. It doesn't seem to work on the highest New Game Plus, so it might be setting it either to the next New Game Plus cycle, or it might be that it's a flat buff to enemies. So on higher New Game Plus, it's almost unnoticeable because enemies have so much health and deal so much damage. It's far more noticeable on New Game, which is the standard difficulty setting. Also, there was a shinobi wall. Now, I actually didn't notice this until the recording. I didn't notice this on the ground. Originally, I thought maybe it was just like light coming through, but there's nothing on the ceiling, no. That's some sort of like ward on the ground, I think? Or some way to warn people or to try to keep the evil spirit from getting past. Because where that leads us is a very familiar place. Now, I was actually considering showing it off because of we've been here before. This is the Headless. Trying to grapple up there, but couldn't quite get high enough. Do you remember where the Headless that we faced was, though? Right next to Chained Ogre, because we're back in Ashina Outskirts. You can actually get to the Demon Bell from here. That works since the beginning of the game, but that door next to the Demon Bell will be closed and is a one-way door. So you can't use it to get to Senpu before even fighting Guillaume. See? There actually is an ogre skip here, by the way, speedrunners have been working on. You can jump around that building and you'll just get past ogre.
ようだな。
侍たちが欲しがっているもの、わかったぞ。
本当ですかい、旦那。
ああ。塩が足りぬようだ。
なるほど、塩か。食うのはもちろん、死人の清めや怪我にも使う。戦場で死体が腐れば、流行り病も道理ってわけだ。皆塩がなくて困り果ててる。そいつは儲け時ですね。なーに、塩があれば助かるものが多い。多少高く売っても罰は当たらぬでしょう。そうと決まれば塩を工面せねば。旦那、ありがとうございます。じゃあな、旦那。塩がうまく売れたら新しい品を仕入れやす。その時はぜひごひいきに。旦那、旦那、聞いてくだせえ。塩が高く売れたんでさ。おかげでまあ、銭もたんまり、仕入れもがっつり。さあさあ、新しい品もありやす。買っていってくだせえ。 旦那、聞いてください。
商いの話か。
さすが旦那、察しがいいですね。どうも最近気なくせえ。戦の匂いがしやす。この木に乗じりゃ、また人儲けできそうだ。そこで旦那にお願いしたいことがありやす。
なんだ。
戦場あさりのための人手、それが欲しいんでさ。戦場にはまだ死体がゴロゴロと転がってやす。ありゃ宝の山だ。あされば槍も太刀も鎧兜も手に入れ放題でさ。戦自宅となりゃ武具が飛ぶように売れやしょ
う。どういった人手が欲しい？
そうですね、戦場あさりは汚れ仕事で力仕事。でかくて力のあるやつを一つお願いしやす。毎度旦那、さあ買っていってください。じゃあな旦那、戦場はでかくて
So we need to find him somebody who's big and strong. The salt you get from that bridge listen in Ashina Castle on that samurai. The big person he wants, you'll either want to send him Jinzaimon, I believe his name is, the samurai who's near the well where you started the game, or Kotaro. Kotaro being the best option.
お前さん、何か用か。わしは忍びを捨てた。じゃが、その忍び、
So we're going to be getting a little bit of upgrades here. We don't have all the prosthetics, so we can't see all of them. You do need to follow the paths to get the next thing. Sabimaru is my favorite, but the loaded spear is pretty good too. I got Cleave actually because it's very useful against a boss. Instead of Snap Seeds, it's much better.
よう旦那、また商いが必要かね。旦那、アシナの城に行くのなら注意しろよ。おかしな奴らがいよいよ大量に入り込んでいやがる。ナイフ固め。アシナ一心は怖いが、いい加減しびれも切れてきたってとこだろうさ。そろそろアシナも潮時かね。じゃあな旦那。
Now we're going to go back to Senpu and we're going to handle that mini boss. You may have seen it was the guy on the bridge who was hiding. He's actually wearing a combination of European and Japanese armor. I'll talk a little bit about him because I'll be talking about his fight when fighting him. That is Robert's father, the armored warrior. Not Robert. Robert is just the child. Robert's monster is the name of his father, actually. I'll also be showing off his introduction and his death in all languages, because like Gyobo's introduction, it's really good.
我が息子のため、その刀、置いて行け。
できぬ。
愚かなり。
For the sake of my son, put down your sword. You are a fool.
Por el bien de mi hijo, baja la espada. Mi pecado. Pour le salut de mon garçon, baisse ton épée. Um meines Sohnes willen, nimm dein Schwert runter.
Per mio figlio, metti giù la spada. Sciocco!
Now here is the fight. Armored Warrior he's a little bit weird. He has a bit different of animations because he's actually European. He's not Japanese. He's come here to try and get the Waters of Immortality to save his son who's dying. His son being Robert, whose firecrackers we've been using. You can hit him quite a bunch, but it actually does no damage. He takes no vitality damage at all. You have to posture break him. It's the only way to defeat him. His armor is a combination of Japanese and European. Most of it's European. The helmet and face is Nanban armor, which Nanban is European and Japanese, or barbarian. You can see it especially in the mask and in the rope that's holding it in place. He's not very hard. You'll probably beat him first try. What you have to do is bring him over towards the sides and knock him off with the death blow. Otherwise, he doesn't take any damage. I don't believe you can poison him, and the spear does not reduce his armor at all. I tried that first time when fighting him, because it seemed like it would make sense. You're supposed to use it against armored enemies, but his armor is just too good. And upcoming is his amazing death scream. Also, you can, of course, carry the thrusts, and I'll also show off his defeat of you. But that's the Armored Warrior. We got a prayer bead. This should be getting posture back on death blows. And, you know, that's the Iron Golem dead. That's this episode. Next time we'll be going into Senpu proper, and we'll be finishing it up. See ya!